Okay, hello and good morning everyone. Welcome to JFD Brokers Traders Espresso with me, Darius Anucauskas. Today is the 22nd of October 2018, so welcome everyone. Welcome to this Monday's morning session where we're going to have a look at a few instruments. I believe that the ones that we should keep an eye on for this week. But as always, before we start looking at the charts, let's quickly have a look at our risk disclaimer. So the content we produce does not constitute investment advice or investment recommendation, should not be considered as such, and does not in any way constitute an invitation to acquire any financial instrument or product. As always, a few seconds for you to read the rest and we can continue. Okay guys, so now then, let's jump into the charts. Now the first one I want to touch on is Nikkei 225. Now, looking at this index here, and you can see that it continues to be strongly attached to this short-term upside support line that has been running here since the low of the 26th of March. Certainly, as you can see, today we're testing that one again from underneath. Last week we were just trading around it basically. So in a way, what we're seeing here is that at the moment, kind of the bulls and the bears cannot decide who's going to take control here from the longer term perspective. So in a way, this kind of puts us in a position where we're gonna wait probably for now and just kind of continue monitoring some key areas of resistance and support and see if the index actually manages to break through them and move in that direction. So on the upside here, we're gonna keep an eye on this short-term upside support line taken from the low of the 26th of March, but also for a better upside confirmation, we're just gonna keep an eye on this 23,050 zone, which kind of in a way acted as a very nice area of resistance in the past here. As you can see, it acted as a very strong resistance in the previous months. Now, a nice good break above that, and especially a nice good close above that level, then on the daily chart we could probably expect this one to travel a little bit higher, maybe even aiming towards the 23,580 zone approximately there. Let me just quickly adjust that, round it up here. So a nice potential area of resistance could be that one, but if that doesn't hold, well, it could continue traveling much higher, like towards the 23,795 zone. And of course, if we get to that point here, we'll just have to reevaluate it again, see how the price action goes on. But for now, from just kind of the more near-term future, just kind of keep your eyes on the 23,050 zone. That's what's in regards to the upside. If, of course, the index is going to remain here below this short-term, or should I say more medium-term, actually medium-term upside support line, then, well, keep your eyes on this little level right here at around 22,175. Now, a nice good break below that level could potentially open the path towards towards a possible test of the 21,850, or maybe slightly below that, just 100 points below that, around the 21,750. So could be nice potential areas of support, but if these actually don't hold, then, well, I mean, you could potentially see this one traveling all the way towards this longer term upside support line taken from around the lows of September last year, and we could see maybe a possible test of that, but only if we get, of course, initially, of course, if we get a nice break below the 22,175, and then these two levels that I was just talking about won't hold as well. So we could eventually test this the support line, but for now, from the very short-term perspective, we're just going to stay put here and keep an eye on these two levels. Jumping into DAX quickly. So the DAX last week, it was a bit of a mixed week, and as you can see by the weekly candle that we had last week, so basically ended up with a small body, even though we had a nice shoot to the upside here, where it tested the let me just get back into the daily here, where it almost tested this key area of resistance that we were keeping an eye on. That was approximately around the 11,865. Now certainly DAX kind of stopped just slightly below the 11,850 zone. So now, of course, for probably a more comfortable idea of the upside here, we would need to wait probably until we would get above the 11,850, or even actually still keep your eyes on this 11,865. Now this could be if we would get a nice break here and a close above that level, now this could potentially confirm further upside here. But overall, of course, as you can see, the index kind of remains weak, and especially if we're gonna get a nice break here below this level here, below the 11,460 zone. So this, of course, could open the path towards the 11,400, and just slightly just 60 points below that. And just kind of remind you guys that the 11,400 level has been a very nice area of support here that we saw around the December time in 2016, so around the end of December time. So also very good potential area of support, but if this continues to drop further and these two levels are not going to be enough for the index to kind of stop here, then, well, keep your eyes on this potential area of support, which previously, as you can see, acted as a very nice area of resistance, and that's approximately around the 10,825 zone. So approximately there, guys. Keep your eyes on that one. But of course, it's quite a big decent slide here, but nevertheless, it could be a possibility, certainly on the way down here. If of course this index could travel lower here, we would test the psychological 11,000 as well, but this is kind of a more of a longer term target here, the 10,825 zone. So keep your eyes on down, and as you can see, it acted as a very nice area of resistance in the past year in October 2016. But again, I'll probably repeat myself, we need to see first a nice good break below the 11,460, or for you who are more conservative ones, you can wait until it drops below the 11,400. So for now, stay put as well. This is gonna, in a way, similarly like with the Nikkei. So we're just gonna keep an eye on this one. We're gonna continue observing the levels and wait for a break move. Jumping into gold. Gold now is, well, last week it kind of got stuck here between these two levels. Now the 1215 and the 1235. Now, even though the 1235 was never reached, it was just kind of fell a few dollars short from reaching the 1135. This is the level that we're keeping an eye on, because as you can see, it acted as a very nice area of resistance here and back in July and in the end of July, of course. Now keep your eyes on that one on the upside. So in a way, you could start looking at the last week's highs. Last week's highs at around the 1233 zone. If that gets broken, then yep, like I said, keep your eyes on the 1235. Now probably the 1235 could be a more of a better confirmation, let's say, of the upside, as we can see this one then potentially traveling higher. If of course, if we get a break above the 1235, we could see this one traveling all the way towards the 1245, which was marked here by the highs of the 16th of July. And if that doesn't hold, then, well, we do have the 1266 zone as well. So of course don't forget about this 200 EMA. It could stall a little bit here, but if, like I said, if the bulls kind of remain in control, then yep, we could travel higher here towards the 1266. So in a way, for now, from the very short-term perspective, keep your eyes on the 1235 on the upside here, and again, then slightly above that, the 1245. On the downside, even if, let's say, if we're going to get a break here below the 1215, still not everything is going to be lost for the for the bulls, because we could see something like this, basically, as you can see by the arrow that I've got drawn here. So in a way, we could see a slide further down. We could test this downside resistance line that kind of gold kind of broke out of on the 11th of October, and we could see maybe a test of that. And in a way, if this can continue to hold, this could be a nice bouncing ground for the bulls to step into, and then they could potentially drive this one back up again. Now, certainly, if we would see such a move, then we'll just be very cautious here around the 1215 zone again. And if that doesn't hold, well, I mean, this could open, like I said, this could continue traveling higher. But for now, certainly, as you can see, this is it's currently stuck here in this little range. So in a way, we're just going to continue monitoring it, and we'll see where it wants to break through. Now, in terms of the downside, now on this one, from a very more of a longer term perspective, let's say, if we would get a break here below the 1183 zone, then probably we're going to start looking at possible lower levels, because for now, if let's say gold even drops here, this is the kind of our neutral zone here between the 1183 and the 1215. So this is where we're going to just kind of observe it. But if it drops below the 1183, now this is where more bears could be probably get interested, and we could see more of them jumping in here and potentially driving this one towards the 1172, or even all the way here down towards the 1160 zone, so which was marked here by the low that we had in August, so the lowest point of August. But again, that's in terms of the downside from the kind of more of a longer term perspective, then yep, we would need to probably wait until this could get towards the 1183 zone, and then if it starts to break it. Okay, let's jump into a few pairs now quickly. So euro dollar, last week it kind of still ended in the red, but on Friday we saw this nice spur, a nice jump here from the lows here, of course it managed to almost reach to the 114.30 zone, kind of just fell shy of a few pips away from there, and quickly the bulls kind of dragged it all the way back above the 114.45, and of course we managed to break this this kind of short term, I would say maybe a bit of a tentative one, downside resistance line taken from the peak of the 16th of October. And as you can see now, it kind of is trying to kind of push higher here. Certainly we could maybe see further continuation here to the upside, but we'll probably stay a bit on a cautious side if we're going to get a nice break here above the 115.35 zone. Now this is where we probably will start looking at the higher levels, at least for the short term, because if you want to start looking at this one long term, then probably take a more conservative approach here and wait until this will get above the 116.10 zone and closes above that, because as you can see, last week we had a nice pop here to the upside, but actually never closed above the 116.10. So for now, of course, like I said, if this gets above the 115.35, certainly we could then potentially target the 115.75. But this is where probably also we'll keep a close eye on here, because maybe the bulls kind of could start losing steam here around this area. Also, as you can see, we do have the 200 EMA here approaching that level here on the 4-hour chart. So in a way, be very cautious with this one, and certainly don't get fooled by the this gonna move here. For us, like I said, for us to get more bullish on this one from the longer term perspective, we would need to probably wait again until we see a nice close above the 116.10. On the downside here, if suddenly this reverses back down and starts taking out these levels, these very good support areas, so our point here that we're going to keep an eye on is going to be the 114.30. Now if this gets broken, now probably it could open the path towards much lower levels. Certainly we're going to keep an eye on the 113.95, and if that doesn't hold, we do have the 113 level here, marked by the lows of the 15th of August. So in a way, this is going to be our breaking point here, the 114.30. And if, like I said, if this continues to drop and it continues to drop below the 113.95, now this is where we're going to start potentially looking at the possible test of the 113 zone. But for now, judging from this, how it's performing right now, it seems that it wants to continue a bit climbing a little bit more to the upside. But like I said, let's be very cautious on this one and see what it wants to do near the 115.75 zone. GBPUSD, looking at this chart here, and this is on the 4-hour chart, and as you can see, I do have still this upside support line, the short-term upside support line that has been running here from the 15th of August. Of course, we saw a break here in the beginning of August here below that, but kind of quickly got back back above it. And as well, we did have this last week here where we also broke this upside support line and actually kind of quickly got back above it again. So in a way, this upside support line is in a way something like it is kind of valid, but if you want to draw another one here just to kind of connecting these points, these lows that we had these breaks basically, then you could see that yep, we're still on an uptrend here. Certainly be very careful here. As you can see now, the pair is kind of breaking the key importance resistance zone at around 130.75. If this continues to travel higher, certainly there are some good potential other resistance areas here. The first one will be around the 131.30, marked by the highs of the 18th of October. And if that doesn't hold, well, it could continue traveling higher. For us to get bearish on this one, we would need to see a nice good close here below the 130.10, and this way we could then aim for much lower levels. And the last pair quickly I wanted to touch on, and that's USDCAD. So certainly USDCAD last week on Friday had a nice push to the upside. Certainly the Canadian numbers disappointed the markets, and as you can see that the USDCAD kind of rushed to higher here, tested the downside resistance line taken from the peak of the 27th of June, but kind of never broke it. So in a way, for now, we're just going to keep a close eye on it. Certainly if this continues to remain intact, then yep, this could fall again, and if we're going to get below the 130.50 zone approximately here, then we could then aim for the 130.15. But if that doesn't hold as well, then I mean it could be opening the path all the way here back down towards the lows that we saw around the beginning of October, and that was approximately around the 129.20 zone. So something like that. In a way, keep your eyes on that one. But if this suddenly reverses back to the upside and we get a nice break above this, then well, of course, keep your eyes on the highs that we managed to reach last week, and that was approximately around this level right here at around 131.30. So in a way, if we would get above this level again, this would automatically place the pair above the downside resistance line as well. So in a way, this could be seen as a nice bullish indication that the pair is willing to kind of travel a little bit higher. So and the next potential stop here could be around the 132.10. So but for now, just keep on monitoring this one. Let's see how it develops further and where it wants to break to. Okay guys, thank you very much for watching and listening. I hope you found it useful, and if you want to join me later on my traders tea time, and that's 13:15 GMT, 14:15 British Summer Time. But for now, thank you very much and bye bye.